Hi, and welcome to part 3 of the Enhanced E-commerce series, where we look into how to implement enhanced e-commerce, but also looking into some of the reasons why you would do it and the key features. Now, this is a pretty technical guide, meaning that if you need any help with enhanced e-commerce or just analytics in general, or even programming, you can just go to java.com and we'll be able to help you with everything related to it. Now, but let's get started about some of the requirements for implementing it, because you cannot just, with any implementation, go right away and implement enhanced e-commerce. And it's worth noting there's a couple of requirements that is going to take a little bit of time, but let's go into them and let's discuss them one by one. The first one is probably the most time consuming if you haven't done it already. That is, you have to migrate to Universal Analytics. Now, this is a pretty big task and outside the scope of this video series, but if you need help, just contact us and we can help. But the main thing is, Universal Analytics is the thing everyone has to use in the future for Google Analytics. But a lot of old web shops, they still have the old tracking codes, and that's a problem because it has to be upgraded. This is especially important because if you don't upgrade it yourselves, all your data will stop working. So it's just worth looking into anyway. So Universal Analytics is requirement number one. You know you have it if you have this kind of sample in your own source. If you don't know what a source is, you definitely need help implementing it anyway. But this is like the code you used to look. Maybe you have implemented Universal Analytics using Google Tag Manager. In that case, this code won't be there. But you can go into the Google Tag Manager account and see the actual code on the page. Then there is a pretty big level of technical skills because you need to make a lot of data on the website in something called a data layer, which Google Tag Manager will use. And implementing it is also a little bit risky. I just want to share a story. I had a customer, a pretty big one in the Norwegian region, and they implemented all this. And what happened was suddenly they got double data of many things, and they got some problem with the currency as well, which meant that for 1 month the data was totally screwed. And now when they go looking, back in time, they have to ignore this period because the data there is just plain wrong. And it's very, very annoying to have that kind of data problem in a big analytics account. So it's just worth mentioning that don't do this unless you really know what you're doing. It's kind of technical. And then there's another thing is you can implement enhanced e-commerce in two ways. The first one is using Google Tag Manager, which is by far the recommendation that we use and Google themselves use. You can also do it directly in code. This is not something we're covering in this video, and we can do it actually. We do it sometimes, but we definitely recommend using Google Tag Manager because it's just so much easier and better and more flexible. And if you make a mistake, you can just change this in Google Tag Manager without doing an actual release of the website. So it's just a really, really good idea to use Google Tag Manager, and everything in this guide assumes Google Tag Manager is being used because it's so much simpler and easier and just a better solution in general. And then there's a very easy one, that is activating the enhanced e-commerce features. You go into admin on your analytics, you go to the e-commerce settings on your view, and you have to activate both e-commerce. It's probably already activated if you have a web shop. And then you also have to enable the enhanced e-commerce settings, and you're good to go. If you want, you can add your steps in your checkout here, do some labels. We can also look at it later with the advanced checkout features in the analytics, but that's also something you can do here. So if you want to see the full guide here with text and the whole guide, you can go to java.com on the resources. You can find the link to it. Also find the link here in the description for this video. So see you in the next video where we actually start implementing some really simple part of the enhanced e-commerce with the product impressions and clicks.